Here's another Wildcat All In. I'm Paul Grua, joined by Blaise Threatt, a junior point guard on the Wildcat basketball team and a transfer this year. And it's been great to have you this year, Blaise. And thanks for joining me.
Thank you guys for having me.
We're glad to get to know you a little bit more and talk about your journey here to Weber State and how this season has gone. You grew up in Arizona. You come from a lineage of an NBA player. When you talk about that with your dad. So I'm guessing, but did you always want to play basketball growing up?
Yeah, I mean, early on, my mom and dad, obviously, big basketball family. So I started playing basketball when I was 5 and just been rolling with it ever since. And obviously with my dad playing at the highest level, that's always been my goal. So just still trying to get there and work my way up.
Did you play any other sports?
I did. I was actually really good at soccer and baseball as a young kid, but my soccer journey ended pretty quickly because, I was bigger than every other kid, and everyone thought I was like a holdback as a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, and I used to hurt little kids, I guess, when I played soccer, so I kind of had to choose a sport that was more physical. So, basketball and football were my two options, and with my grandparents being kind of doctors, they didn't really like the concussions and all the stipulations that came with football, so basketball was kind of the route I chose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your dad is Blaise Threatt, who played 14 years in the NBA.
Did.
And had a great career and played almost 1,000 games. I mean, he played in a lot of big games and well known in the NBA. What was growing up like that, having an NBA player as a dad?
I mean, obviously, all the stuff that comes with it. My dad's kind of more modest and doesn't really like the attention, so I kind of try to take the humility with me and how I approach getting attention from people. But just having the knowledge that he has and the things that he can give back to the game, which he's currently doing now, it's great for me to just see how he approached the game, how he went through his career, and then how he approaches, people today and giving back to the kids and the youth. So I think it's a really cool thing, the way he just, gives back, and having just someone that I can go to if I need knowledge about, okay, what do I do here? Or he used to talk to me during games, and he never really was the type of parent to push me and put a lot of pressure on me. He kind of just wanted me to be free, and I kind of took that with my basketball journey this far, and I'm going to continue throughout my career. So
now he's in Australia now.
He is.
And coaching, right?
Yeah.
But you still talk to him, and he watches games.
Yeah. Well,
he tries to.
They don't get ESPN Plus out there, so Brady just hooked up my dad with some a synergy login, so he can go and watch my clips.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, he's not super big on like critiquing me. He's all about positivity and showing me, okay, you could have done this here, or you could have been better here. But it's all love, and I'm just happy all my family, extended family over there, can watch me play, and they get to give me feedback. And when I go back there every year, they get to make fun of me and joke with me about my game. So it's a fun thing.
There you go, perfect. Well, so after when you're in high school, what was the recruiting process like for you?
Well, throughout high school, I kind of felt like I was always under-recruited my whole life. I've kind of been an underdog, so to speak, and just going throughout high school, I was pretty good, and I had a pretty good record. And then senior year, a traumatic thing happened for me. I had a pilonidal cyst that developed, and I had to kind of stop playing basketball. So my senior year, I didn't really get a lot of exposure, and my recruitment kind of stopped completely. So, having that traumatic injury, having 2 major surgeries, I kind of just thought basketball was over for me. So after high school, after I graduated, I went and got a valet job, just working day to day. A whole year I took off and worked valet, and then still loved basketball. And I had an old AAU teammate who hooked me up, said, "Yo, I'm at a Division II school, and when you grow up playing AAU, you don't hear anything about Division II, Division III, NAIA, JUCO. You don't hear any of those levels. You kind of just hear just kind of D1 or nothing." So he said, "I have an opening for a point guard position," and I was just grateful. So kind of without any of my family's knowledge, I just signed up, committed to a walk-on spot at a Division II school, and just worked my way up. Started my first year at Colorado Mesa, separated my shoulder, came off the bench, didn't really have the success I wanted. So I knew coming into that next year, to make it at this level, I had to make an adjustment. So I completely changed my body. I lost about 30 pounds that I had gained when I had got injured from my pilonidal cyst. So my second year, I came off the bench, had a lot of success, led us in all our statistical categories off the bench. So I knew my third year, I was like, okay, this is going to be my breakout year. This is going to be a year I can really excel. So I took it really serious during the offseason. It was the first time I went to go see my dad in Australia. And I spent the entire summer out there just working with my dad, with my brother. We just worked every day, 2 times a day. We just worked and we worked and we worked, and then it really transitioned to my last year at Colorado Mesa, and I had like a breakout year and had a great recruitment out of the transportal and ended up at Weber. So it's all been a blessing for me.
Wow, but it's been quite a journey dealing with injuries and lots of things.
Yeah.
And so you really thought that you may never play again at one point?
Actually, I wasn't taking the injury as serious as I should have, and I was about a month away from dying. So I was in the hospital, and they were like, yeah, because the one pilonidal cyst developed into 7 within a short span of time. So I couldn't move. You know, it was probably the lowest I've ever been in my life. And I just had to, you know, I'll never forget the conversation I had with myself. You know, when that happened, I was sitting in my room and I was down and out, and I was just like, I got to make something of myself. I can't go out like this. So I just had that conversation with myself, committed to my craft, and worked my way up to this level, and it's been a blessing for me. So.
Well, I mean, how often do you think about that? How has that affected you?
I mean, I think about it all the time. Something I'll never forget. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, you know, just being down and out. And I just had a conversation with one of my brother, actually, Prince. We was talking about, you know, I have a picture on my phone that he reminds me all the time. He sends it to me, and he just sends it to me because it was the lowest I've ever been. I was at his house, and I was just down and out. And I don't know who took the picture, but it was just something that reminds me every time I think about, you know, how I got here and my journey here. To just think back to the moment you're at your lowest, and you know, how are you going to dig out of the situation? And when I'm having games or practices or days I don't feel like I'm, you know, having a great day or a great practice, I think back to that time and what a blessing it is to just, you know, even things like for me, like just getting food after practice. Like when you're at Division II, you don't get that. You like bus rides, you know, all these blessings that, you know, some of the players that come out of high school and go straight to Weber State, they don't understand, you know, kind of the transition up to that. So I'm in a blessed position.
Wow, what a journey. And those are a couple other things, but what are some other differences between D1 and D2, and especially that you've noticed on the floor too? I
mean, coming from Division II, you're gonna hear, okay, what's the transition gonna be like? What's the next level gonna be like? And I just talked to a kid actually who asked me, who just committed to Colorado Mesa, about what the transition's like. And for me personally, I always knew I was a Division I player. I knew I could play at this level. My body, my physicality, the way I approached the game, I always knew I was skilled enough. I just needed the exposure. So I feel like the biggest transition for me was kind of just, not just the pace of the game, but, you know, the length that you're gonna see on the floor. So when you're at Division II, you're not gonna get 7-foot centers. You're not gonna see a St. Mary's center that's 7'1", 300 pounds, you know what I mean? So you're gonna get 6'9", 6'10" guys, and it's gonna be a little different. But in my experience personally, college basketball is college basketball, you know? You're not gonna see a whole lot of difference in the skill gap. It's kind of just the length, and probably the athleticism will be a little different, but I feel like I've done pretty good on the transition thus far. Well,
what was it about Weber State that brought you, you know, that made you choose to come here?
Well, I mean, like I said, I had a lot of schools at my recruitment. I probably had 50, 60 Division I schools that recruited me when I hit the transportal, and it was probably the most stressful 3 weeks of my life. You know, when you get in that transportal, it's just like call, text, Twitter, and you just have to keep up with it all. But the thing that really stood out to Weber State is just, you know, I always tell people the coaching staff was super serious about their commitment to the craft and the standard they set. They always talked about on my visit was the standard they set, and they set it for all the players, and they expect us to reach it. So one of the best things that really sold me personally on the idea to come to Weber was not only did, you know, the head coach, Duff, and Jorge come to my house twice to see me and, you know, come to my house and greet me and take me out to dinner when I was at Colorado Mesa. They actually took their time, devoted themselves to come see me. It meant a lot. But I'll never forget when Duff told me, you know, we have a spot at Weber for you. It's a point guard spot, but you're gonna have to earn it. And I just thought that was a great thing he told me, because he didn't say you're gonna come here and we're gonna start you and you're gonna just get the keys to the team. He said you're gonna have to come here, you're gonna have to earn it. And it kind of gave me, you know, reminiscent of when I was at Mesa and I had to earn my spot going in my first year. My second year coming, and there was a 6-year senior that was behind me and I had to play behind him. So it just kind of brought me back to that, you know, ground zero level. Like, you have to start at the bottom again. You have to work your way to the top. So that's just the mentality I go in with. And, you know, I'm still working every day. And when I leave, when I graduate next year, I want to make sure I can look at myself in the mirror and say, you know, I gave everything I had. I didn't leave anything to chance, and continue on my career at the next level. So that's my goal.
That's awesome. And nothing's ever given to you, right? Yeah,
never.
You got to earn it. Well, as we wrap it up, I just wanted to ask you too, like, what do you like to do when you're not playing basketball?
KJ, like
And
KJ said.
yeah, I mean, KJ said that you guys play 2K a lot.
Yeah, he said we play 2K, and he said he wins. But I mean, like I told you guys, we probably played 30 times. He's probably won about 3 or 4 games. So
He left that part out.
yeah, he didn't get to that part. But I mean, I love to play video games with not only my teammates, but I love to play with my friends back home. And one thing that, I mean, they know about it, my teammates know about it, but I like Legos, and I love to build like these massive Lego pieces. And I have a 4,000 piece Ferrari I'm working on right now, and then a 4,000 piece Spider-Man I'm gonna work on next. So it's kind of just something I can debrief the game and not think about other things, and it just kind of takes me into my own world, listen to music, and just be to myself, which I really enjoy. So I love doing that, and I also love to work out. Like working out's one of my favorite things to just stay in shape. So it's a couple things I like to do.
It has been awesome to have you here, and love watching you play, and excited to finish the season. Obviously, a lot of big things ahead, and of course another year too. But thanks for joining us.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Go Wildcats.